Leader 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR Rochester, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia, where the voice of the Rochester fan is heard. Pull up a stool and join us at 866-4326. This is WGR Rochester, and the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia is on now.
2 hours of sports talk excellence here in the Flower City on opening day 2.0. Once again, you found the Sports Bar. Gene Battaglia with you. Tim Schneider, our fine producer. Dan DeLorean chopping up sound in the background as well. We got a whole team here, and we invite you to join us at 585-866-4326. 585-866-4326. You're always welcome to pull up a stool. You can hit us up on YouTube and Twitch. Leave a comment there in the section. Say hello to our viewers that are watching online right now. 95.7 FM, AM 950, and always free in the Odyssey app. If you're a Rochesterian and you're sitting up a little straighter, chest out a little bit today, that was so cool last night. Don Stevens nailed it. He did. Not only on the calls itself, but having a little fun. Couple sound bites from Don Stevens calling the Sabre game last night.
Getting set. Lee picks it up on this penalty shot. Works wide to the right side over the goal line. Back in the slot, moving in, and backhander. Luukkonen makes the stop. Gets the glove on it. Great save. And it remains 1-0. Headsman here, Luukkonen.
Yeah, and then Don cracking a joke that I call him 6K. I wonder if that's going to kind of stick there because there are 6 Ks in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So Don Stevens also able to kind of poke fun at himself, and that's what we love about him.
Shot in, and that goes wide. Might have tipped the glove of Luukkonen up the near side. How do you see the puck from here? It's just like 6 miles away, Danny. That whistle stops play. So there was a shot. I thought I saw Luukkonen's glove move a little bit, but I don't know if he touched it or not.
Just say it did. That's all you have to do, yeah.
And great stuff from Don Stevens. He'll join us at the bottom of this hour. Of course, this begins tonight, a stretch for the Amerks. 3 games in 4 days. Charlotte being the opponent tonight, and then Friday, Belleville, and then Saturday we all get to salute Don as it'll be Don Stevens Day, the Don Stevens bobbleheads. Don will join us at the bottom of this hour. One other note on hockey, if you missed it from yesterday, we did have on Mike Leone as he joins us every Tuesday in the Sports Bar at 2:25. So if you're an Amerks fan, want to get caught up, you want to be in the know. And sometimes he drops little news and notes on us that, oh, wait, this isn't good. Just want to make sure I heard that correctly. So Johnson and Fiddler Schultz out for the season, correct, Coach? Any chance that at some point during the postseason we could hope?
No, I said the rest of the season, regular season, there's a chance they could play in the playoffs, but for the rest of the season, regular season, they're out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that was Mike Leone confirming that center Riley Fiddler-Schultz, who has been kind of a glue guy for this team, certainly, and Ryan Johnson on the blue line, and you can't afford any more injuries here. And I'm just going to say lovingly to our friends over at Let's Go Amerks. Keith Wozniak, I'm talking to you.
I saw that. You got
Damn you. I didn't retweet it. But I looked at it and really? And it's plausible because Sabres aren't playing tonight. And what have we been tracking? Zach Metza. I still can't figure out really why Zach Metza came down to Rochester. It was great. It was fantastic, but he is an NHL player. Now, I understand why Lindy Ruff wanted to say, all right, Timmins, you get a little bit of work. We want to see what we have here. You've got other guys like Stanley that you've got to work in. But Metza should be in the lineup when we get to the postseason. Why risk anything here with the Amerks? And granted, I'm the Rochester guy telling you this. You should be up in Buffalo. Let's Go Amerks putting out the tweet today that that Zach Metza had been reassigned to Rochester for the rest of the regular season. I'm like, okay, whoa, that's news. And then I'm searching. I'm like, wait a second, why don't I see anybody else reporting this? How did they? Oh, damn it. It's April 1st. So I did not report that. I'm just saying, don't get God today. And if you're going to do something April 1st, do it along those lines. there's so much out there that, is kind of silly today, I suppose. So Sabres get the win last night. I guess let's not bury the lead here, as right now they're back on top of the conference. How nutty is that? Now, they played one more game than Tampa, so there's that. But they do play Tampa one more time here. Sabres are going to be in Ottawa, the favorite team of Dan Drummond. That'll be tomorrow night. Paul Hamilton en route to Ottawa. Paul Hamilton will join us tomorrow on the show. Isn't that nutty to think, too, that this is the first time in Sabres history they've reached 100 points? Now, I guess it's kind of a disclaimer. I guess when the NFL went to 17 games, a lot of these, you should say, all right, in what era did you set the yardage record or whatever it is? Because, hey, for many, many years, pre-lockout 2004, you got to a tie. That was it. 5-minute overtime. Okay, we don't have a winner. Both teams get a point. Some people yearn for those days. I do not. I wish the NHL would go to a 3-2-1 system, but that skews it a little bit. Like if you think, all right, how many Sabre teams got north of 90 points and never had that chance to pick up the extra point in a 3-on-3 or in the shootout, really the shootout being the thing that's kind of pushing up the point totals. Doesn't matter. I'm just pointing that out. Sabres at 100 points. Who amongst all of us thought they would even get to 80? Not me. Not at all. Kind of the hot sauce meme there. Not at all. I didn't even think that. So, Sabres tomorrow night taking on Ottawa. We'll have that game for you. Sabres against Charlotte. The Amherst against Charlotte tonight. Don Stevens will be on the call along with Andrew Mossbrooks. Don Stevens coming up at the bottom of this hour. Hour number 2 here in the Sports Bar. PJ Glasser, who was in Washington. He's a Beltway guy. If you had to pick one college basketball game to be at this year, I don't know, like in this decade, like that finish for UConn against Duke, amazing, right? So PJ will get his thoughts, his picks here on the Final Four. Hopefully you are still alive in your bracket, as kind of something with college basketball, and I would kind of draw the analogy maybe to NASCAR, where the NASCAR season begins, boom, hey, it's the Daytona 500, and we're all excited. And maybe it's just like you like looking at pictures of warm weather down in Florida. And then it's kind of like, oh, all right, it's kind of, not that the NCAA tournament is forgotten, but it's a little inverted, meaning, hey, we're really into it when we have wall-to-wall action on day 1, day 2, and then going into that Saturday and Sunday. And then you get to the Final Four, and we're all going to be into the Final Four. Don't get me wrong, if you're listening to this show, but a lot of people out of their brackets. The winner here, though, CBS. Did you see this? These are the best TV ratings for college basketball since 1993. That is amazing. Amazing. And what is missing? What was missing in the Sweet 16? And I hate this because the guys on the other channel like, it's a coward. Yeah, you really don't like Cinderella. You really like proven programs, waving my finger. We don't like Cinderella. Give me only... Well, kind of hard to argue against that when, wow, having a Duke UConn actually does matter. Having a Duke against St. John's. Let's not miss out on that the New York market was pulled into this. So, there wasn't a Cinderella in the Sweet 16. It didn't matter. So we'll talk some basketball and some baseball too with PJ Glasser. That is coming up in hour number 2. Again, our phone number, 866-4326, proudly area code 585. That is the Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line. Award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub, 135 West Commercial Street, East Rochester, goodsmokebbq.com. Of course, the one segment I have to promote. And I tell you, honestly, I never know what he's going to say. And I think it works out better that way because if he's off the mark, you're getting my natural reaction. Tim Schneider's terrible take of the day will be coming up in hour number 1. The NFL owners meeting's wrapping up here. And this is the time of year where we start to get, little schedule morsels, like you're trying to figure out, okay, how does my fall? And again, you will hear me say this as long as I'm doing this show. Do not wish time away. I'm looking forward to summer. I'm looking forward to football season. But we got a long way to get there, right? So I'm not wishing that next week is week 1 of the NFL season. So that's kind of my disclaimer here, right? But I do like kind of getting news and figuring out, okay, how might it look different? And I was a little surprised to kind of learn that the NFL is pivoting off one thing that they were trotting out here the last few years. And that's this. No more Monday Night Football doubleheaders. So they tried this. What did we have, 5 last year, where the games would overlap. You would have, say, week 2, and it would be the Bills playing the Titans one year. And then you, at the same time, you have the Eagles playing the Falcons, right? No more. That's over. These games, the NFL, this is really what it's about. They're going to be reallocated to standalone games on a Friday or a Saturday later in the season. So with the rule from Congress that the NFL cannot go up against high school football, as really they shouldn't, on Friday nights. But once high school football is over with, you could have, in December, theoretically, a Friday night game of the week. And maybe that's where these games will go. We learned also that there will be another Christmas Day triple header. That's not going away. The NFL really curb stomped the NBA. Like, no, we're going to take that holiday. Couple thoughts on this. One, I don't think people are going to be upset about the NFL doubleheaders going away. I felt I was in the minority, but I'm not going to be upset about it myself. People like Monday Night Football, but they were kind of a little overwhelmed trying to switch between the two. It felt just a little bit off. I'm not opposed to like having a West Coast game if you can stay up that late, but I'm sure it doesn't pull in good TV numbers if the East Coast is got to stay up, say, theoretically till 1 in the morning if you're going to kick off 10 o'clock in Las Vegas. But thought number one, if the NFL is going to try to milk more money out of a Netflix or a Peacock or whoever it is, these games could end up on NFL Network, but they can also be yours for this price. So really, that's what this is going about. You want more NFL games? We're going to create this little mini package for you, Netflix or Apple or whoever it may be, right? Until the next TV rights deal comes up in 2030, the NFL is going to try to figure out more ways to do this. And unfortunately, I where is the money right now? It's in YouTube TV and it's in Netflix and everything else. So we might have a Bills game where you don't have that streaming service. But this is the other thought too. Like, wait a second, if you're ESPN ABC, why are you not screaming murder on this? Like, you're not saying, wait a second, we were airing these games. Why are you taking this away? Because if I'm a network like ABC, there's one thing that I know I can sell. It's the NFL. And this is a couple thoughts why they're probably not throwing a fit. Well, I guess 3 thoughts. Do you really want to go up against the NFL? Do you really want to bite the hand that feeds you? That's number one. Number 2, they're partners now. This hasn't become officially official, but I think they say it's not going to happen on ESPN, and I say BS on that. Meaning, are you really going to get the critical stories, the journalism about the NFL from ESPN now that they're officially partners with the NFL? They say no. I think otherwise, right? So if they're closing the deal for ESPN now to be owning the NFL network, this might have been one of those, okay, this is what we need you to do. Those games on Monday night that really aren't pulling into big TV ratings, give us back them. Okay. So that could have been kind of a quid pro quo thing. The other thing, too, is like, we were just kind of mentioning, did that really boost the numbers for ESPN ABC? I don't think so. If there's any counter programming, it shouldn't be a second game. It should be the Manning cast. Like, the Manning cast feels like, to me, you feel like you're a little left out. If there was a guest on there and you see was Belichick popping off about something, say, for instance, or something like that. So there's only so many platforms that you can spread the same audience out over. So to me, that makes sense on a lot of levels. The ESPN, ABC, they can't complain about it because they're partners with the NFL. The NFL can make more money on this. And I'm just saying, get ready for a game maybe on a Friday night. Maybe it's on a platform that you currently don't subscribe to. This is where the NFL, this is where sports are heading. I got more than one message, a DM last night. I have no idea what happened, folks. It's not like I can pick up the local Spectrum spokesperson. Did you see this, Tim? Apparently, okay, Yankee baseball, crack your knuckles. I'm staying up for this tonight. Yankees in Seattle. Who knows? This may be an ALCS preview here on the final evening in March, and then you turn on yes, and wait, the game is blacked out in my area? Since when is Yankee baseball blacked out in our area? Apparently by 11 o'clock they got it on. Somebody asleep at the switch, or maybe this was just automated, but no, that should never happen. Furthermore, what are we doing with blackouts anyways? This is the part I don't understand. Baseball, make it easy for us to watch your games. Make the product here's where you go get the games. Again, look at the NFL. Hey, here's our network lineup. Here's where you can watch the games this coming weekend. And, oh, wait, you're a Packer fan. Well, you can subscribe here in week 1, even though we're not on. Just saying this in theory. You go to YouTube TV. And before that, it was DirecTV, the Sunday ticket. Very simple. I don't understand why baseball makes it so hard for us. Apparently, this is something they're trying to untangle at every level. But it was a little embarrassing last night for the local cable provider to, the one thing you want to watch last night was probably Yankee baseball, and that did not happen for the first hour. Yankees, by the way, their affiliate, of course, here 4:05 today, being the first pitch. For the folks listening outside and watching outside the Rochester area, it's overcast today. But they should be able to get this game in. And that's kind of cool. I love people coming down to the High Falls area and seeing everybody kind of mill around. Mets and Cardinals are in a rain delay. It is one of those getaway Wednesdays designed here on April 1st. There are only 2 evening games today in baseball. The Yankees will we have a 4:10 first pitch out in Seattle. 866-4326, area code 585. Is our number, as we were joined yesterday by Matt Perino of the Syracuse Post-Standard. And, for Matt, I thought kind of interesting stuff. Hearing Joe Brady talk yesterday, and again, he is really pumping the tires on one Keon Coleman. I don't know if that necessarily means that Keon Coleman's going to be given every opportunity. To me, it just means we have an asset right now. And why make this asset kind of go away? Maybe this works out. And if you think that's a nutty idea, let me tell you about a hockey player who was bouncing between Buffalo and Rochester. And I swear, if you look at some of the tweets circa 2018, this guy doesn't have it. This guy is nothing. He just skates around in a circle. And now Tage Thompson is one of the best centers in the game. Tage Thompson, not representing the Buffalo Sabres, he's representing the United States of America in the Olympics. It took Don Granato to say, hey, let's try this out here and see if this kind of works. There was something that the coaches saw. There was something that the scouts saw. Give Keon Coleman one more chance. Give him all camp. I'm not sure how it fell apart after week 1, but it was I thought it was noteworthy that Keon Coleman, going out of his way was Joe Brady, head coach, to talk about him yesterday. And also talking about the fifth-year option for for Dalton Kincaid yesterday, and to say that we're going to manage the situation, we're going to basically talk to the training staff and see how much practice. And like, wow, is that PCL? If that's what indeed we're talking about, is that a chronic situation? Could be. So I think it's a little unusual that we're talking about limiting practice reps for an NFL player in the month of March. Dalton Kincaid was drafted on the hope that he could be this tight end that could provide Josh Allen that reliable third down target. And we've seen a little bit of it, but not enough. That's going to be another chore here. Another thing that Joe Brady's going to have to figure out with this offense. Of course, to me, your headline stories here in Rochester, of course, Red Wings opening day. Don Stevens calling a period of Sabre hockey. And I'll say this for Don. Thank God the Islanders didn't have like 5-6 goals. Can you imagine that? Like, poor Don would have been like, and everybody would have been like, boo. But if you just go on X right now and type in the name Don Stevens, you will see hundreds of messages about people saying, wow, this guy's really good. And I say, yeah, I know that. We know that here in Rochester. Don will join us next. You're always welcome to join us on the Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line at 866-4326, area code 585. Gene Battaglia here on WGR Rochester.
Sports Update.
Opening day for the Rochester Red Wings. That's a 4:05 first pitch coming up against Scranton. The Wings 2-1 on the season. Of course, yesterday rained out. It is hockey night in the Flower City. The Amherst hosting Charlotte. This begins a 4-game and 6-day stretch. Head coach Mike Leone on the Checkers.
They're as good as any team in the league. They're well coached. They play the game the right way. They don't play pond hockey. They get the puck deep. They forecheck. They're a really good team. There's a reason why they went to the finals. And I think for us, it's just, we have the focus and we'll just worry about the next game.
Leone Tuesday here on the Sports Bar in WGR Rochester. Our coverage tonight with Don Stevens, Andrew Mossbrooks will begin at 7 o'clock. Don joining us next year in the Sports Bar. On the Major League scoreboard, the Orioles up on Texas 4-0. They head to the fourth. Pirates up on the Reds 3-0 after 3. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, WGR Rochester.
Top Shelf Sports Talk. You're hanging out in the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR, Rochester.
It's funny, if you just go on X and you search the name Don Stevens, you're going to come up with Sabre fans like, wait a second, this guy's really good. I want more Don Stevens. And yeah, we've known this here in Rochester, and Don will be on the call here tonight. And Don, I was joking with Timmy here. First of all, appreciate your time here. Thank goodness the Islanders didn't put up like 5 or 6 goals in that second period. That actually it was a positive period for Buffalo. Don, how are you this afternoon?
I'm ready for a nap. That was quite a day yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and thank the Sabres organization and the people, and of course the Amherst staff, and that putting all this stuff together. It was quite a day, a great experience.
Yeah, and gosh, to work with Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, and gosh, you were here when Rob Ray was a player, so like they're not strangers to you, but that came off seamlessly, Don. It was just kind of a joy to listen to, and that's not easy stepping in a situation like that, certainly.
Well, the Islanders people that might have been watching the game were thinking that they were actually playing against the Rochester Americans. So I don't know. I got to be 10 times I called them Amherst instead of Sabres, but I was concentrating so hard on trying to get the players' names right that the Amherst name just sort of fell out of my mouth. It just, kind of blah. And but as I said to somebody, well, I've been saying one name for 40 years, so I guess it's kind of hard to change.
Well, for sure. And and then, my gosh, you've seen more Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Did you come up with that 6K nickname, Don? That was a little nugget you dropped there last night. Or who gets the credit ultimately for the 6K kind of nickname?
No, that was me.
Yeah.
All the way, but nobody liked it. I thought that was a great nickname that would take legs and go, but nobody else used it. So I just always ask who do you know that has 6 Ks in their name?
Don, we're going to have you in studio on Friday, so I don't want to we're going to talk about your big weekend here in Rochester, and I hope that everybody can make it out, to see the Amherst this weekend. And if you had to choose one game, Saturday, 5:05, Don Stevens Day, there will be bobbleheads given out to the first 2,500. Don, was it in any way last night bittersweet for you? When you look back at 40 years, knowing that, hey, you were here in Rochester, but outside the one game there, the NHL, the NHL opportunities just didn't come your way. Was it bittersweet for you in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. Mixed emotions. Always disappointed that I didn't make that next step, and when I originally came here, it was with the idea that I was here maybe a couple of years and then going to Buffalo, because Ted Darling was on his last leg, unfortunately, and so they thought that at least that was what I was led to believe, was that in 2 years I would probably end up be going there. So that I didn't get that, yeah, that was that's very disappointing. But on the other hand, it's been a great place for me, and especially things like yesterday, and moreover, especially since the Pagulas bought the team, it's been my first real, I guess, secure position, if you will, in the world of sports broadcasting in all the years that I've been in it, that I've really felt secure and like I belong. So I feel so great on one side, a little disappointed on the other, but the greatness greatly outweighs the not so great.
Yeah, and Don, you still have your fastball, so to speak, and there have been others. I look at John Sterling, where John Sterling walked away, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to come back and call a few playoff games. Are you leaving the door open for anything like that, or when we get to the end of this Amerks season, we hope it's a deep run in the postseason, or will that be it for you? Have you given that any thought?
This will be the end of my broadcasting. So that's done. That's what else happens. I don't know. I was joking with somebody that they have given me a new job for next season. That's going to be sitting in the atrium lobby at game night and being a live human bobblehead. So I got to practice on bobbling my head back and forth.
Yeah, well, I mean, you brought it up there. What do you think of your likeness, Don? That is one of the highest honors anybody could have, having a team give away a bobblehead of you. What did you think of how it came out?
Well, I thought it was excellent. I thought the likeness was, if I look in the mirror, unfortunately, that's just kind of what I look like. Maybe where I'm thinking I'm so handsome isn't really true after all. But anyway, I thought the likeness was excellent, and I think they did a great job of getting enough weight in the base so that the large melon on top didn't tip over.
As I tell people, there's dry humor, and then there's Don Stevens, sort of dry humor. Don joining us here in the sports bar as the Amerks tonight. Don, shifting gears here. This is a tough stretch here. 4 games in 6 days. This is the American Hockey League, I suppose. But your thoughts here on what is an Amerks team that played pretty well last week. All 3 games they come away with the 4 points. Give us your thoughts here about the team as they're heading into a tough stretch here.
Well, you know what? I think I don't want to use the word overachieving, but I tell you what, with all of the injuries we have, and we've got a bunch more, they work so hard to come up with those points, and they're up against some top-notch teams now. It seems like every team that's coming in here is in playoff mode already, and outstanding teams like Charlotte tonight. They're on a roll, and then we got another Syracuse, obviously, and there's Providence. They're way up in the top, and all of these games that with the additional injuries that we have now, it's going to be a tough task ahead. The Amerks do have a 6-point cushion right now as far as the playoffs are concerned, but that could disappear in a very big hurry, and so that's kind of my concern right now.
Yeah, it's that 4-5 playoff matchup too, Don. I don't like any format where it's going to be just, here it is, 3 games. Everybody hold your breath here because it is hockey, and you get a bounce here, a bounce there. But conversely, Don, if the Amerks do get out of that, I'm looking ahead. I can talk about this. I don't know if you can talk about this, but no team really scares me in this division. They're all good, but it's not like the Amerks are as long as you have Levi and Helenius, you should have a chance against any of these teams.
Well, Syracuse is very strong. In fact, I think Syracuse might probably be better than Laval right now, and so they're very strong. We haven't seen Cleveland for a while, so I'm not sure what we're going to see there. And Toronto has come on very strong at the end of the season. So, everybody's playing well. The thing with that mini round, anything can happen in the mini round. It's kind of one of those things. If you finish in the number 4 spot, you hate the mini round. You don't want to play it. If you finish in the 5th spot, you love it because now you got a chance. So the Amerks unfortunately can't move into 4th. They can't catch Toronto. So it's 5th or none for the Amerks right now.
Yeah, it's in the end of the season here, Don. I don't know who designed this schedule. 6 games out of 7 all on the road here. Don, you've been doing a lot of traveling. I thought it was going to be a game here, a game there, but you're up to it and you're on top of the game. Are you going to Cleveland, or are you going to be heading out for that final road trip of the season as well?
Well, I'm going to Cleveland, yes, and then I'm going to Syracuse, but I'm not going to. That trip continues on to Springfield and Providence, so I'm not going that. That's too far away for me. So I'll miss those two. But then the last weekend, what do we have? We got Wilkes-Barre and Hershey, and I'll be going on those. So it's they're doing things for me. So I've got to go to those games in Syracuse and Cleveland and Wilkes-Barre and Hershey. So I guess it'd be kind of hard for them to do what they want to do if I'm not there.
Yeah, and look, this is what I'm telling people. If you want to say thanks to Don, Saturday's the game, right? Quick, Charlotte tonight, Friday against Belleville, Saturday 5:05. I'm very curious to see what have they given you any hints or anything about Saturday, Don, or how that might be kind of rolled out?
Yeah. The hints are, we're not telling you anything. We want you to be surprised. That's my hints.
Well, I know one thing.
I don't know why. Everybody always wants to surprise me. Why do they have to surprise me? I don't need to be surprised. I'm appreciative without being surprised.
Well, Don, that's I guess that's what we're doing to say thanks to you. And as always, you're always great with your time here. Tonight with Andrew, as you got to get ready for a game here, Don, or sneak in a nap here, and another one here for you.
No, well, I'm still struggling to get my mind's been so blown out of proportion, if you will, for what all is going on that I really haven't. I've been working at it all morning, this team tonight, but my work isn't working very well right now. I got a lot to do yet to get ready for tonight's game.
I think you've got a little bit of experience under your belt, Don, that it'll come together for you.
Been around for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Don, appreciate the time, and hey, we'll look forward to stopping by in studio on Friday too. So,
yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you Friday.
All right, sounds good. Don Stevens, legendary voice of the Rochester Americans, who was on the call last night in the second period, and I had to ask the question: is it bittersweet? And the answer is yes. And somebody tweeted, we got to get that audio. Found Don's one and only game that he called Sabres. He's filling in against the St. Louis Blues. Timmy, do you have this?
I do, yes.
All right, nice. What do we got?
It was a goal from Tony Tanti in 1992, January 21st, 1992.
12 shots on goal for Buffalo, and a lot of them good shots. Not too cheap.
It's Andreychuk in for the draw. Back to Bodger. Still on the power play to LaFontaine. Spins it away to Andreychuk. Quick shot, deflection, they score! Deflected away in the net by Tanny, and the Sabres have drawn first blood.
Well, as I just mentioned, Tony Tanny can tip pucks as well as anybody in the National Hockey League. Now, let me give you an example of that right here. LaFontaine with the backhand pass. Watch Howard-Chuck. He'll go right to the goal, and he's got Tanny standing in front, and the deflection was perfect. I mean, this kid's unbelievable at tipping pucks. They can drill him as hard as they like, from any corner, any direction, high, low, sideways, over his head and his ankles. He'll still get his stick on it. The Maltese Falcon puts them in the lead, 1-0.
Wow, that is, Tim, good job pulling that up. And that's a Sabre broadcast network, and that's a young Don Stevens. You know it's Don with the score. That hasn't changed. There's just obviously a little more rasp to his voice. And I think it was one of our listeners, Greg, that drew the analogy. It's like Mr. Holland's Opus. And I've never seen that movie. I'll put it on the list. But the idea that, all right, I'm here and this is where I belong. And Don Stevens is a true Rochesterian through and through. So, again, Saturday will be Don Stevens Day. And I thank the Buffalo Sabres for giving Don a shot last night and showing what we got down here. We have time for your calls on the other side. 585-866-4326. That is the Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman Line, award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub, 135 West Commercial Street, East Rochester, goodsmokebbq.com. Terrible Time Timmy's Terrible Take of the Day coming up next year.
WGR. Rochester.
Hey, it's Gene here for Window Nation. Spring's arrived, and it's a great time to open your windows. And your windows won't open easily. They leak when it rains. They have cracked glass. They need repainting. Again, well, get top quality custom fit windows from Window Nation. It's easy, it's affordable, and right now, the more you buy, the more you save sale is going on. You could save up to 50% off all your windows. Plus, you could get them down with zero interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. In fact, experts report that windows retain 80% of their value. With Window Nation, you'll get windows that easily slide open and closed. They're made with top-quality seals so they won't leak when it's rainy or windy, and unlike other windows, they're maintenance-free. They're so good, Window Nation stands behind them with a lifetime warranty, and they're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on now. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com now for a consultation.
I went through the open door mission, and I made
Sports Talk. You're hanging out in the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR, Rochester.
Of course, my gosh, 3 weeks from tomorrow, it's the draft, right? It's in Pittsburgh. And as Pittsburgh prepares to welcome the nation to the unofficial beginning of the football season, the city's kickoff celebration will begin with an unforgettable invite-only night of music the night before. It's being called. It takes place on Wednesday, April 22nd at the Rivers Casino Event Center. Features Jason Aldean, John Morgan, and Shane Profit. Visit Odyssey.com/the night before. Enter now for your chance to win this national contest. Your prize includes round-trip airfare, 2-night hotel stay, 2 tickets to the show. Again, enter at Odyssey.com/the night before.
It's now time for Terrible Time Timmy's Terrible Take of the Day on WGR Rochester. WGR Rochester. It's Terrible Time Timmy.
There you are, dancing along to this gem again.
Look, as long as it makes you mad,
I
I'm
think
happy
that,
with it.
yeah, and as long as you're happy, I guess I don't have a choice than to just deal with it. Yesterday, you talked a little bit about the St. Bonaventure Bonnies hiring Mike McDonald as the new head coach of the Bonnies. That's fine. It's well and good. It might work out. It might not. Kind of a boring hire to me personally, but I don't think people were banging the doors down for Mark Schmidt 20 years ago, and it turns out he's the greatest coach that university has ever had for men's basketball. My problem here is the PR firestorm that's happened over the last 36 or so hours, where it's basically Woj's phone book explaining why this is a good move. It's like it's being sold to me rather than just, here's what it is, here's what we're doing, hopefully it works out, or not hopefully it works out, it will work out, or however they want to phrase it. But the Utah Jazz coach having an opinion on this hire, what are we doing? The old coaches from John Beilein and whatnot, like people that Woj happens to know, but no Mark Schmidt. If Mark Schmidt actually retired, why isn't he on board with this hire? A bunch of other people and players of relevance. Tom Crean has an opinion on this. Like, why is it being sold to me?
You lost a player to the portal. How good is this player?
Very good. He was one of the top 3 players in the A-10 as far as points went, and that's another guy that instead of paying him, they got to go pay somebody else now.
You know, it worked in college football with Lance Leipold, who goes from, was it Wisconsin Whitewater and at Division III, goes to UB, does some good things, and then now all of a sudden he's coaching a Power 5 school, right? And so you have this guy who is dominating at the Division II level. But this is what it's about, Tim. And just follow me on this. Can this guy go get people to write checks? That's really what this is. And when you look at the Jerry McNamara hire, it makes sense from this standpoint. Meaning, you just can't snap your fingers and then all of a sudden, poof, here are millions of dollars that the Orange can go offer in the portal this time around. But this time next year, they sure as heck can. I would think that give it 12 months, that's going to give you a runway with a new AD and Jerry McNamara. And by having Jerry McNamara, it's twofold. One, okay, he can actually, you missed your alum, Ms. Alum. You remember when Syracuse won, and here was Jerry McNamara hitting 5 3-pointers in the national championship game. Can you help us out? Sure. Let me write you the check. Sidebar, who actually writes checks anymore?
I haven't done it in a number of years.
No, I don't know. Do they Venmo it? Do they, is it?
Yeah, it's all electronic.
Yeah, that's really all this is. This ultimately, Rose could have hired anybody. He's failing in that regard. Like, you had this player, and he's like, nope, I'm out. It's the A-10. Like, Bonaventure should be one of the top 4 programs in the A-10.
I would agree with that.
They should.
At least top half every single year.
Yeah, and they're not. They're not. You lost to Fordham. You lost.
Almost lost twice to Fordham.
Shame on you. Like, we suck, but we know we suck, okay? It's not going to be like, hey, like, that you should be embarrassed.
Yeah, this season was a bad one, and maybe it was time for a change, but just the way that they're doing it and the way that it's being, I guess, sold to me, it doesn't really sit well with me. If it's a good move, it's a good move. Why do you have to sell it, right? Like, that's one thing. And why, if Schmidt actually legitimately retired, has he not come out and been on board with the passing of the torch?
He didn't get along with right. So, like, do you really have the Olean beat writer digging and willing to piss people off? Because that's really the story here. What was the relationship between Woj and Schmidt? And Schmidt was king down there. And then all of a sudden this guy comes in who loves Bonnet basketball, but let's face it, he's an outsider. Just because you graduated that year, why would you have, other than being a super fan, what would qualify Adrian Wojnarowski for running a college basketball program? He covered the NBA as a journalist. Okay. Does that mean I can be the Fordham GM at some point? Because sign me up. I can do just as good a job of Fordham basketball as Woj is doing right now down in Bonaventure. Stop with that. That's like, to me, like, nobody is criticizing the GM. This head coach, Tim, he's in a no-win situation. He really is, because maybe they do win, but if Woj isn't doing his job, they'll be out the door. When Woj came in, I really thought, okay, he's going to know people. He's going to actually get people to write checks. He doesn't know S.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm learning in real time. It's only been a couple of years, and you do have to have a little bit longer of a leash. But eventually results have to be put on the table, and they're not there yet. Now there's a coaching change, so there's even more on the table that you have to present and profit with. I'm hopeful, but I'm not confident, and that's not something that I've been able to say about the Bonnies for as long as I've been a student there.
Yeah, we've got opening day for the Rochester Red Wings. This is on today, so if you're looking for something fun to do, it is one of those days, too, where you could do the double dip. So this originally was going to be a 6:05 first pitch, and I think the Wings recognized, you know what, it is opening day. Let's bump it up to 4:05. So that's where they're going to have the first pitch today. And then the Amerks tonight we have here on WGR Rochester. Don Stevens, if you missed it, we will have that up for you shortly. Dan DeLorean doing a fine job cutting up all the audio. Don Stevens, Andrew Mossbrooks on the call. We'll talk a little baseball coming up next, as it is a new world here. And some of these umpires are not liking it here with the ABS. We'll get you caught up on the Major League scoreboard as well. And we'll talk with our buddy, PJ Glasser. PJ Glasser, our betting expert here in the sports bar, about the Final Four that'll be coming up this weekend. Time for your calls as well at 585-866-4326 here on WGR Rochester.
So
4-6. Odyssey is an equal opportunity employer.
WROCAM, WBEE, HD2 Rochester, and everywhere you go at WGR Rochester. The sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR Rochester. An Odyssey sports station. WGR Rochester. Sports Update.
Red Wings home opener today. It will be at 4:05. That's moved up from the 6 o'clock hour. Scranton is the opponent. It's also hockey night tonight in the Flower City as the Amerks take on Charlotte. This begins a 4-game and 6-day stretch. Don Stevens, Andrew Mossbrooks will have your call tonight beginning at 7 o'clock. Buffalo Sabres at 100 points on the season following their win over the Isles, but it comes as a price as Sam Carrick hurt in a fight. Head coach Lindy Ruff on the injury.
Yeah, it was a left arm injury. It'll be evaluated, and we'll see tomorrow exactly what that is.
Sabres are in Ottawa tomorrow night on the Major League scoreboard. Orioles are up on Texas 5-2 in the 5th. Braves up 5-1 on the A's in the 6th. Nationals and Phillies tied at 1 there in the 3rd. The Mets and St. Louis remain in a rain delay. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, WGR Rochester.
Stay for a while, you're in the sports bar on WGR. Grab a drink, hang your coke, it's sports talk. Live from Western New York. It's a master show. 9 times better than your typical host. 9 times. Gene and Tim have takes much hotter than most. No one cares when you're out. Sabres! Bills! Americans! Red Wings and Nighthawks! Sports bar! For Rochester Sports Talk.
Hour number 2 here in the Sports Bar. Gene Battaglia with you. Tim Schneider, our fine producer, and you are always welcome to join us. Thanks for tuning in. 866-4326, our phone number, area code 585. Dan DeLorean chopping up the audio as well as, there are a lot of scores going on in baseball. The Yankees will be coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. And one thing that has really been kind of your lead story. This time last year, the lead story, and it kind of went away, were the torpedo bats. Remember that? The Yankees came out and they just moshed all over the Brewers in the opening weekend. Everybody's like, what is that? Oh, my gosh. And it was the first time it was kind of widespread, and then quickly we kind of forgot about it. And, basically pitchers adjusted, and that was kind of the end of the torpedo bat. It wasn't this great new invention. It was just something we weren't kind of aware of at the time. This may fade out as well, but it's been the ABS, has it not, that has been really the storyline here. Because, well, for Major League fans, they're not used to this. We're used to this at the AAA level, and you get that video game sort of an excitement where all of a sudden, your attention is drawn right to the scoreboard, and you see, did they get it right? And we're all about accountability, right, in your job and in sports. And my gosh, when we get to bill season, if you wanted to count up how many times a coach or a player would say the word accountability, well, why should this be any different? Umpires should be accountable, and they should want to get better. The problem is that, okay, if you're the umpires union, it's really, really bad when C.B. Buckner gets how many calls wrong.
Ow. It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
You bring up C.B. Buckner. He just took a foul ball off the face and is being removed from the game in the Brewers game right now. Just happened.
You're kidding me.
Within the last 45 seconds.
Now I feel bad because I can't really goof on him. Is it going to be okay?
He's no longer calling balls and strikes. He's out of the game.
All right, so that's one thing. Like gosh, what are the odds of that? This goes back to the game against the Reds, 6-5 win over the Red Sox on Saturday. He had 6 calls over call, 6 strikes changed to balls. Look, you're in the home crowd. You're just like, you're laughing at this point. Really, what turned it last night was Milwaukee and Tampa, and Jake Bauers is, just legging something out, infield single, right? And Bauers is called out because Buckner says, well, you didn't. Now, this isn't an ABS thing. This is just you're bad at your job. Buckner calls him out because he didn't touch first base. And then you look at the replay. Wait a second. His foot is squarely in the middle of the bag. And then both managers, the Rays manager, Cash, Murphy for the Brewers, the cameras pan to them, and they're both laughing. They're laughing at the incompetence, right? This is like an easy one. If the call goes against you, you can't be upset. It's embarrassing there for the ump. So to me, it's one of those things that we want better umpiring. You brought up a good point, though, Tim, off air. Like, what if Angel Hernandez was actually still calling balls and strikes?
Angel Hernandez, you stink, and I don't like you!
That was one of our Take of the Year finalists from Philadelphia fan. And I remember that game. It was a game, Phillies and Brewers, Sunday Night Baseball. And, I'll just watch this. Nothing else is on. I'm like, wow. Angel Hernandez is behind home plate. Cost the Phillies essentially the game. Lauer was the pitcher for the Brewers, and the strike zone was as wide as, who was that umpire from the 90s? Eric Gregg? You've seen that Marlins, playoff game for way out of the zone. Maybe not that bad. I do like the one thing in that soundbite, though. We could play that again. Listen very carefully for the Philadelphia kid in this soundbite about Angel Hernandez from years ago. They raise him right here in Philadelphia, making sure.
Angel Hernandez, you stink, and I don't like you!
And there is driving by Angel Hernandez after the game, like it's a player's lot or something at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia. If you're going to just, kind of segue this to something else, like the NFL, I think the NFL has a little bit of a problem with their officiating. And it's never one thing, right? You could say, well, they need more training. I don't think anybody would argue that. They need full-time. Okay, some of them are actually full-time. The system last year, I thought, got a little bit better when it came to the expedited reviews, right? Do we really want, the coaches on the hot seat for overturning the calls, or do we just want all the calls to be correct 100% of the time? I think it should be the latter. It was a fun strategical thing, like, hey, do we want to use our challenge here on a play that will only get us maybe 8 yards, or do we want to save this for later on? But if there's something that's clear and obvious, then it was getting overturned. Let's not even go to the challenge. Don't even waste it. And it was one of those things that came out from the owners' meetings yesterday, that should there be replacement officials in the NFL, that non-official NFL personnel will be allowed to assist in overturning calls. What the NFL does not want is a situation they had on a Monday Night Football game in Seattle where you have one official waving incomplete and then the other official right next to them in signaling touchdown, right? Officiating is hard. It is. I'm going to give you that, right? NFL officiating is hard. The speed of the game and all the nuances when it comes to the correct call. But if we have the technology to make sure that things get right and it doesn't hurt our viewing experience, then why are we bothered by this? Like, if you are somebody that says, they really shouldn't be doing this to C.B. Buckner, I'm sorry. Maybe C.B. Buckner isn't good at his job. I shouldn't know. If I know your name, then you're not a good official. Or you're a little too thirsty. Who would I put in the too thirsty category? I don't know. Ed Hockley. Like, he's somebody. Lan Clark kind of really loves the spotlight when he steps up. Like, people that kind of step in and want to take the spotlight. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I think officials should just be kind of nameless. Like, I shouldn't know your name. So that's been the storyline, I think, of baseball. Right now, overall pretty good weather here from the major leagues. But and in Rochester locally, of course, the ABS system will continue, and we will have the Red Wings coming up, 4:05 first pitch at ESL Ballpark. Get that down straight here. Took me years to say. Third name in the history of the ballpark. And this one will probably stick around for a while here, I would think. 866-4326 is our phone number. Area code 585. I am a little surprised they are allowing camera crews inside the old Highmark Stadium. And this is a news item like, hey, demolition work has begun. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a reminder like that's gone. It soon will be gone. And it's kind of weird to see like some benches kind of ripped up and the chairs being pulled out. And hey, there's a memorabilia company that's going to make a lot of money in conjunction with the Buffalo Bills on all of this stuff. And maybe that's the reason why the crews were kind of permitted to go in there and show that, hey, we're starting to pull up stuff. And maybe that's kind of the segue that, hey, we're going to actually kind of go over and, you can bid on these chairs and whatnot. I think once we get into the new stadium, we'll forget all about that. And we will forget. We'll be like, my gosh. Wow, this is nothing like where we were before. Personally, I can't wait to step into the new stadium. And for a lot of people, understand like, okay, I can't afford that new stadium. I hope you get the opportunity through friends or family or at some point. It's going to be a tough ticket year one for sure, with the team being good and with the demand being high. Tiger Woods announcing he's stepping away for a period of time. Now, we talked about this story for the last 2 days. Over the weekend, flips his car. Okay, this is another one. The rollover from 2022, the DUI from 2017, Thanksgiving weekend from 2009. Tiger won't be at the Masters next week. And when he does come back, this remains my take. I'm going to stop putting him on a pedestal. Look, it was great. He will be the greatest golfer of our generation. You can debate that, a sports bar debate. Would you take him? Would you take the Golden Bear? To me, Tiger in his prime, I would take. But it's over. It's over. Of Tiger's last 8 majors he's entered, he's missed the cut or withdrawn in 6 of them. And now he will be nothing more than, here is Arnold Palmer to tee off here at the Masters or whatever, when they allow everybody to come back there. But it's not going to be this year. And when it does happen at some point, and I'm sure Tiger will be back at some point, I just don't think we should be celebrating. He's got some clear, obvious issues. Heading into this weekend's Final Four, the NCAA tournament, averaging 10.3 million viewers across the 4 networks. I'm throwing in there True TV as well. That is, Tim, want to take a guess how much of an increase that is?
34.
Not that high. That would be crazy. But if you can get close to double digits, and by close, I'm being, what's the number? It's not 7. It's not 8.
9 times.
9% increase from last year. This is the most watched tournament since 1993. And it really was UConn and Duke on Sunday afternoon. Like, the committee did it right. Let's make sure that we're getting these primetime matchups on a Friday evening, St. John's. And, I was down in the city over the weekend, and I was in a show at that time, but you were just kind of walking around the city, and you just see the tournament on in every establishment, it seemed like. And mind you, it was the Yankees were out in San Francisco, and well, they weren't on all the time of the tournament. So good on CBS and good on basketball. The thing that's kind of missing, though, and I would point this out, is we all love the underdog story. We all would love to see St. Bonaventure make the Final Four some year. There isn't any story like that. You can't sell me Iowa basketball being an underdog. You can't sell me Nebraska being an underdog. I'm sorry. Yet they haven't. Nebraska's never even won a tournament game entering this year, and they won 2. Irrelevant. They're a Power 5 school. We all love like the little mid-major that was able to keep going on the automatic bid. And I kind of said this at the beginning of the tournament, and just kind of backs it up that the days of St. Peter's and those sort of schools making a deep run here, kind of coming to an end, in my opinion. We were joined yesterday. Oh, by the way, we will talk to PJ Glasser, your betting expert here in the Sports Bar on WGR Rochester. We'll talk about the Final Four. We'll talk a little baseball. And then next week, it is Masters Week. So we'll have PJ on next Wednesday because, you know, what makes sports a little more interesting? Action. And if you're into action, PJ's our guy. PJ Glasser, who was at that UConn Duke game, will be joining us here in just a little bit. 866-4326, area code 585. We did have a little news here, and if you're an Amherst fan, be sure to join us every Tuesday, as it was around this time yesterday that head coach Mike Leone, this is an Amherst team that cannot afford any more injuries. Just want to make sure I heard that correctly. So Johnson and Fiedler-Schultz out for the season, correct, Coach? Any chance that at some point during the postseason we could hope?
No, I said the rest of the season, regular season, there's a chance they could play in the playoffs, but for the rest of the season, regular season, they're out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was Mike Leone yesterday in the Sports Bar with the news that Riley Fiedler-Schultz, who from the center position has been really, really good for the Amherst. Stories you love, like guys that are grinders. All right, well, that's a guy that you're hoping is back in time. And Ryan Johnson, who high draft pick, you're hoping that he could. Now, right now, there's a logjam, so that's somebody that needs to kind of step up a little bit. And now that he's not going to be available, that doesn't help matters. So the Amherst are going to be thin. I did get got today, although I didn't retweet it, but I'm man enough to say when I saw our friends at Let Go Amherst put out the tweet about Zach Metza being sent back to Rochester for the remainder of the season, I'm like, whoa, what great news. Let me just look here, see else who's reporting this. No one else is reporting it. I fell for it. It's April 1st. Damn you, Keith. Don't do that to me. We will not do any April Fool's jokes.
There were some people on those comments that were like legitimately fired up, unfollowed, actually angry.
Yeah. I like. Look, I love, because that was not just the hot topic with Amherst hockey, but it was with the Sabres as well. Their fan base has grown to love Zach Metza. And we are not that show here, and I think we're not that fan base too. We all recognize, hey, you are in the promotion. Thanks. See ya. Good luck in Buffalo. You know, like, not only should you be up there, you should be getting regular playing time on the third defensive pair. My gosh, what an asset to have somebody like Zach Metza. What was he doing here last weekend? We'll talk to Paul Hamilton tomorrow on the show, by the way. The Sabres do have a little bit of an injury issue, and because today's the travel day, the Sabres right around now, as I understand it, are moseying up to the Canadian capital, where they will face Ottawa. By the way, it's not in Ottawa. It's in Canada, or however you say it. Nowhere near, 40 minutes away. You're laughing at somebody. What are you laughing
No,
at?
I'm laughing at you. You said Canada.
Oh. No, but they think that's the name of the town. Though.
No,
Not
I know.
Canada, but it's, yeah. The point I was going to make is about Sam Carrick. Now, there's a play last night where Norris, I think, gets boarded, and Carrick's going to, like, okay, this is my justice, and then the fight, and he loses the fight, but clearly something's wrong with the left arm. And if you're looking at the Sabre depth chart, fourth center, all right, is it Tyson Kozak? Is there another option? Maybe Carrick is fine. Maybe it was just, all right, your elbow popped out and it popped back in. I have no idea. Like, the way that kind of looked, it's open to interpretation. The Sabres really don't need to tell us anything. So we'll be talking to Paul Hamilton tomorrow to see if we can get some clarification on that injury. And can you imagine this? Like, tomorrow night might be one of those fun nights where you will stay to the end of the Sabre game, even if they get up big, because you will have the call from Dan Dunleavy that says we're playoff bound. That's great that the Sabres can actually take care of this on their own. It's not like some West Coast game that you're waiting up for that, oh, so-and-so lost, and now the Sabres are in. So the Sabres, should they get the 2 points tomorrow night, the way I understand it, Brian Duff and Marty Brown said this as we were in the show, they are in the postseason. Not that was ever in question, but you know what? You should celebrate, milestones along the way. Like when the Bills won the AFC East. Now, they broke the playoff drought, of course, under Tyrod, and they were a wild card. But that felt a little different. That felt like, okay, yeah, we're going to get a home playoff game. This feels a little different. Celebrate the things along the way. And this would certainly be a milestone, the idea that we're going to have Sabres playoff hockey coming up at the end of this month. Yes, we are in the month of April. And certainly somebody who loves the month of April because you got the Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs, Masters, baseball. Oh, and the Final Four. PJ Glasser, our betting expert, to join us next. Our man from the Beltway, who was at the Duke-UConn game. We'll get his thoughts on that. We have also time for your calls. 866-4326, area code 585. Gene Battaglia with you on WGR Rochester.
Sports Update.
Opening day for the Rochester Red Wings. That's coming up, the 4:05 first pitch against Scranton. Hockey night tonight in the Flower City as Mike Leone And the Amerks taking on Charlotte. Leone on tonight's opponents.
They're as good as any team in the league. They're well coached. They play the game the right way. They don't play pond hockey. They get the puck deep. They forecheck. They're a really good team. There's a reason why they went to the finals. And I think for us, it's just, we have the focus and we'll just worry about the next game.
Don Stevens, Andrew Mossworks will have your call tonight beginning at 7 o'clock. Buffalo Sabres, first time ever they're 100 points on the season. This after the win over the Isles. It comes at a price, though. Sam Carrick hurt in a fight. It's a left arm injury. Sabres in Ottawa tomorrow night. On the Major League scoreboard, the Orioles are up on the Rangers 5-2. Pirates up on the Reds 4-3. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader. WGR Rochester.
The best local sports talk in the Flower City. The Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR Rochester.
If we get to a summer day, and those days, in July where you're just kind of wondering, all right, like there's really nothing to talk about. One of those summery sort of sports topics. Best game you ever went to. And for me, I want to say hands down, the best game I ever went to was the comeback game. We did the Bills down 35-3, and they won that game. How is that even possible? And the series of events, and anybody that was of that era that went to that game or didn't go after the game, that's you were in for life with that Bills team. Tim, if I ask you that question, what would that game be for you?
UCLA St. Bonaventure first four. I think that was 2018.
Oh, that was a good one too. I hope you have something that makes it gets even better for you in your Bonnie love.
Maybe
there.
someday.
Maybe someday. I'll ask the question here. I guess PJ Glasser. PJ, and recency bias being a thing, that Duke-UConn game with the way that sort of ended, was that the best sporting event just in terms of the game itself that you've ever attended? PJ, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing good, Gene. Appreciate you having me as always. It's definitely up there. I mean, that finish is something I'll always remember. What's funny, Gene, is I've kind of been to the college football equivalent to that game too. I was at the Bama-Georgia national title game when Tua hit Devontae Smith on 2nd and 26, and it's just that same reaction of like what just happened? I mean, you think Duke's going to win the game, and then all of a sudden chaos breaks out. It's like the same thing. Georgia got that sack to make it 2nd and 26, and the next thing you know, Bama's going to win. So those two are probably the two best that I've been to. But that game last night or on Sunday was just unbelievable. I saw the stat that one seeds were like 134-0 when they were up by 15 or more at halftime. So, I mean, when you hear just stats like that, pretty crazy and pretty unbelievable game.
Yeah, and you being an Alabama grad, I totally like when your team does it. And gosh, have I ever seen my team win a championship? Well, the local hockey team here, the Amerks, did it in the 90s, and maybe for the Sabres who are too, BJ. But we brought you on to talk a little bit about the Final Four and get your thoughts here on baseball as well, and a little golf as we head to the Masters. And there might be some people that would say, oh, Michigan, Arizona, that's the true national championship. But I don't know. I think that Illinois is a 3 seed that just moves the ball around so well. And now they take on UConn. And actually, when I'm looking at UConn, if I want to just bet this straight up, they're getting points in this game, PJ? What is the play here? That's a 3 seed in Illinois taking on the 2 seed UConn Huskies. That's the first game up at 6:09 coming up on Saturday.
I think that's what makes it such a fascinating game, Gene, is if you don't bet UConn and they end up winning, all people are going to hear is, how could you not bet Hurley getting points, right? It's like one of those kinds of games, which makes it tricky. I mean, you certainly understand the UConn perspective. The guy's 17-1 against the spread in his last 18 tournament games or something silly like that. The advantage that UConn has in this kind of game, we talk it all the time about Super Bowls, right? And the experience for coaches and quarterbacks that have been there. Underwood's getting his first taste as Illinois' head coach, and all those players are getting their first taste of a Final Four, whereas UConn, Hurley, that coaching staff, Caravan, like all these guys know they know what to expect. They know how to treat this long layoff. They know how to treat all the media. They know how to treat playing a basketball game in a football venue, all those sorts of things. So definitely a ton of advantages for UConn in this game. Illinois is a better team, though, and that's why they're favored. Gene, ultimately, I don't really have a bet in the game. I think, it's a lot like Duke and UConn, where you just hope that one of these teams gets up and you bet the other team live, because I do think it's a game that comes down to the wire. I would probably lean towards UConn, though, just because I do think that experience of Hurley and all those coaches that have been there, I think it's a big advantage for them in this game against Illinois. And I think a lot of Illinois fans are probably happy with the fact that they're going to get Duke, but be careful what you wish for, because you're going up against, the best coach in college basketball.
Yeah, and gosh, and that the another treat there too, because in following that game, Michigan, Arizona. Now Michigan took apart Tennessee, and I don't think Tennessee was kind of going to be Final Four bound, but the way Michigan did it, hey, no doubt about it. Arizona. What they did to Purdue, I was wrong on that, PJ. I had the Boilermakers making the Final Four, knowing, okay, this is a team with experience and they've been there. Arizona, if there were any doubters, that is a supremely talented team, and they're the team getting points here in this matchup. So 8:49 scheduled tip on Saturday. Michigan, Arizona. Who do you like in this one?
I think the key to this game, Gene, really is as simple as the 3-point line, because Arizona is one of the teams that they rank towards the bottom in the entire country out of 365 teams in three-pointers made per game, because they don't attempt a lot of them, and they don't really need to. They're 36-2 on the season. They won the Big 12 regular season. They won the Big 12 championship. Here they are in the Final Four. Clearly what they do works. But it's rare that they've played a team, obviously, that's as good as they are. It's rare that they have been an underdog in a game this season. Michigan has been so efficient so far in the tournament, shooting the ball, especially from three-point range. So Arizona is a team that relies heavily on the free throw line, and a team that relies heavily on making two-pointers because of how great they are with their size, and they do have good depth. They're going up against a team in Michigan that really can counteract that. I mean, these teams are mirror images of each other, Gene, in the sense of how they're built. Again, the big difference, Michigan can shoot the three. Arizona really doesn't need to do it and really doesn't do it. But in a game like this, I think they're going to have to. I think that's really the key to the game. Arizona, as you know, is my pick to win it at the beginning of the tournament. There's nothing at this point that would take me off of Arizona, so I'm going to ride with them. But I do think that they're going to need to make, probably 7, 8, maybe even 9 threes in this game if they want to beat Michigan. It's the most excited, Gene, I've been for a game probably since that Duke-Carolina Final Four game in Coach K's final year. I think it has the potential to be an all-timer if both of these teams play to their capability. I do think Michigan's A game is a touch better than Arizona's, which is why they are favored in this game. And because, again, of the three-point shot, but I do think Arizona finds a way. I'll take the Wildcats.
Are you surprised at all in this day and age where, all right, player movement has been more than ever, right? So it's kind of hard from year to year to gravitate to teams. The cachet coaches, they're not around. Although you have Patino, and then you certainly have some other guys too. Certainly Hurley. Are you at all surprised that the TV ratings, these for the tournament, are the best since 1993, PJ?
I don't think so, Gene, just because last year was so chalky and we had such few upsets and we didn't really have that many great finishes that I think this year, the fact we're getting so many great finishes, we had so many good teams in the Sweet 16, and now we obviously have a really good Final Four with both games with the point spread of 1.5. I think it's the quality of the games late in the game and the fact that even though we necessarily aren't getting all these, Hall of Fame marquee coaches, like it's not Patino, Izzo, Self, in the Final Four type deal, you're still getting great programs with great teams, great coaches. And I just think it's the quality, Gene, of a lot of these late games, and then you have a Duke UConn game and the way that game ended just to take it over the finish line. I would expect really good ratings for the Final Four. And, I haven't been surprised because of the quality of a lot of these games coming down to the wire.
PJ Glasser, a betting expert here in the sports bar. As baseball, PJ, not a lot of action coming up later. You know, there's ever getaway Wednesday. That would be the day today. I don't know if you have a thought on some of these plays maybe that are coming up, or in general on the baseball season. Right now, Paul Skeen's in line for his first win of the season. Pirates are up on the Reds 4-3. They're in the top of the seventh. Skeen's allowing only one run before he came out of the game. Your Orioles getting their first home run there from Alonso earlier in the week. The Orioles today up on the Rangers as they go to the seventh, 8-2. Your thoughts here on what's been an interesting week here in Major League Baseball, PJ?
Certainly has. I mean, the ABS gene has been the big story, right? We all knew it would definitely help, but I kind of love it, and it's really, I think what I've found most interesting is really all the challenges we're seeing is out of the hitters. You know, like the catchers and the pitchers have the opportunity to use the ABS as well. I really haven't seen too much of that. It's been majority hitters, so that's something I'm definitely watching for as we go down the line. I mean, the Tigers start in about an hour, and Scooble's on the mound today against the D-backs on a getaway day. So to me, that feels like it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. First five, like under 3.5 with two pretty good pitchers. Gallen's always been solid at home in Arizona throughout his career. And then, again, Scooble, I mean, the body clock for both of these teams should be an advantage probably for the pitchers, especially early in that game. So that first five under was something that I'm targeting. And then Yankees-Mariners, just an awesome series. You would expect both of those teams going to be in the conversation amongst the top of the AL this season. George Kirby against Cam Schlittler today. The Yankees have been playing great ball, Gene, and, you know, they start out on the West in San Francisco, now in Seattle. Think they might go down today to the Mariners, though. So I would look at the Mariners in that game, minus 120.
PJ Glasser joining us, and in addition to college basketball, you certainly are on top of golf. It is our last tune-up before the Masters coming up next week. This is the Texas Open. Do you remember, do you recall who was the title sponsor of the Texas Open, PJ? It's a gas company.
It would be the Valero, Gene.
The Valero Texas Open. PJ, any thoughts on this track here and what we can kind of expect here as we're all excited for golf coming up, particularly next week?
Gene, I prefer the Valero Alamo Bowl to the Valero Texas Open, but, you know, still looking forward to the golf starting tomorrow. Should be good. Quick note on the Masters, too. It's going to be so interesting next week because Morikawa had to withdraw from this event with an injury. Rory hasn't been in good form. Scotty Scheffler hasn't been in good form. So, like, three of the favorites. And then Bryson, you know, always collapses late in the week at the Masters. He just hasn't been able to kind of figure it out yet. Going to be super interesting in Augusta. This week, though, Ludwig's the favorite. I agree with it. He should be the guy to beat, in terrific form, and this is a course that should match up well for him. And anytime you're playing in Texas this time of year, Gene, you always got to worry about the wind, the weather. Could be very difficult going from hole to hole. This is a tournament and a course historically where the wind does tend to really blow. So you want some guys that can navigate that, guys that are good ball strikers. Steph Straka at 25-1 would be a guy that I would look at this week. I certainly think that he could be in the mix. And J.J. Spawn, who's a former winner here, I think could also play well as well. So Straka 25-1, J.J. Spawn 35-1, a couple of guys that I would look at.
Yeah, and looking ahead to Augusta National, PJ, and again, this is a week out here, but 73 in sun, 79 in sun, 82 partly cloudy, 83 partly cloudy. Those are the 4 rounds right now they are forecasting. Sign me up. And not that the Augusta National's ever been a big weather issue, but I'd rather have those temps in the 70s or low 80s and nothing too hot there and certainly no rain.
Amen. Oh, it's going to be the best. That's all, that's all we ask for is that for those 4 days we get picture perfect weather, watch the best in the world, attack that course, and hope we get the drama that we did last year, Gene, on that Sunday with Rory. I don't think we will because we don't have anybody trying to attempt the career Grand Slam at Augusta again. But it should be a lot of fun as always, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about it next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure. That'll be next Wednesday. But if people want to kind of follow along and kind of fine-tune their action, PJ, tell our audience here in Rochester where they can get your content these days.
Yeah, Gene, people can follow me on my YouTube channel at PJ Glasser. You can also follow me on Twitter as well at PJ Glasser9. And then I'll be doing some podcasts for Game Day Garage. It's called The Quad. And I'll be filling in as well here over the next couple weekends, starting late April or so on Westwood One Sports. You'll be able to check me out there as well, Gene. We got Final Four this week, the Masters, as you mentioned, and then NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs. I know the people in your neck of the woods looking forward to the Stanley Cup playoffs this time of year.
It's PJ. We are fired up. Sabres win tomorrow night. That breaks the longest drought in sports. Well, actually, technically, I guess it would either be the Jets or the Sabres based on the time of year. The Jets will now own that to themselves. So get ready for a lot of Jets pity tomorrow night because the Sabres get the 2 points in Ottawa. The Sabres are in playoffs, baby. Playoffs happen. Hey, quick thought on Jerry McNamara. Did the Orange get it right? You're an ACC junkie, PJ.
I think they did. I mean, certainly getting a guy that played for Boeheim, a guy that knows how much basketball means to Syracuse and what it's going to take to get that program back to relevancy. I think the job he did with Siena was terrific, but Gene, like it is with all these coaches, especially when they come in and they're trying to turn around the program, he's got to get the NIL right. He's got to get the right guys into his program. But I think since Boeheim retired and the coaches, and Autry, I think this is as good as they could have hoped for. So hoping that GMAC can get it right again. But I think it's a good hire for the Qs.
PJ, appreciate the time, buddy. Looking forward to next week and enjoy the Final Four, bud.
Yes, sir. Gene, you as well. Talk to you next Wednesday.
Thanks, PJ. PJ Glasser joining us. Our buddy Tim in the studio doing me a solid that rain delay is over in St. Louis. And, okay, a rain delay might mean I'm not going to go to the game. But can we officially put an end to saying that St. Louis is a great baseball town? I'm using my Binkley voice because it is the same state. Looking at this game, maybe we'll have more fans for the Good Friday doubleheader for the Rochester Red Wings.
Yeah, things have tailed off pretty mightily.
I mean, they're like it's all red seats out there, and that's embarrassing for a major league game just to kind of go off like this. And sure, I don't know the particulars of the weather situation. Maybe it was thundering and then people wanted a punt. But come on, it's baseball. It's in the afternoon. You are in a market that hosts a major league team. It is the Mets. But now I think St. Louis has just been kind of exposed, like many other markets. That okay, your fan base is only going to go so far when it comes to loyalty. And look. Here in Western New York, like people, the Sabres, Buffalo loves the Sabres. Well, look, I was there on a Tuesday night against Vancouver. They're opening the season. I'm looking around. Okay, there's maybe 7,000 people here? Okay, I don't know what they're going to announce today in St. Louis. There ain't 7,000 people there. That's for sure. Marlins are up on the White Sox 8-0. Jays up 1-0 on Colorado. Ernie Clement with a hit. We'll keep you updated on that as well. Time for last call. Last call is for you. Now, if you're listening back in the podcast version of the show, I'm sorry about that. But you know what? You can call us. Set an alarm for yourself. Around this time every day, 2:45. Open up the phone lines, 585-866-4326. Last call coming up next here in the Sports Bar on WGR Rochester.
Rochester.
I'm going to throw
Getting set. Lee. Getting set. Lee picks it up on this penalty shot. Works wide to the right side over the goal line. Back in the slot, moving in, and backhander. Look at it, makes the stop. Gets the glove on it. Great save. And it remains 1-0 as we hear Rue come in.
Yeah, Don Stevens last night, as heard on the Sabres broadcast network, certainly on WGR as well as MSG. And they just take great sense and pride. And you just go on X right now and you search for Don Stevens. You see every Sabre fan saying, yeah, that was really cool. And I was joking with Don early in the show today. I'm like, thank goodness there weren't 5 Islander goals during that period. Or, people would be like, oh, my gosh, you'd be associated with that. But, hey, calling a penalty shot and a stop for the home team, good on Don. And he will be on the call tonight. He's joking with us. He's got to get his nap in. He will be taking on the Amherst will be taking on Charlotte. Tough stretch here. Charlotte tonight, and then Belleville on Friday, and then Don Stevens Day on Saturday. Don will be back in studio on Saturday. What I can tell you is this: the Amherst are planning some things. They did tell me one thing. I can't say what it is.
Everything's a secret to Don Stevens.
Yeah, everything is a secret to Don Stevens. You know what this is, but I can't say. And trust me, like if you had to make a list of people that are bad to keep a secret, I'm on that list. I'm not Mr. Gossipy in the office. I know to avoid that stuff. But when it comes to this stuff, I want to tell you. I can't. So all I can tell you is if you're an Amherst fan, just if you can't make it to the game, tune in. It's going to be a spectacular weekend here for the Amherst, and that's going to be exciting. And hopefully you can be out there. And if I had a wish, sell out the barn on Saturday. Like it's a 5:05 game. You'll be home in plenty of time for Michigan, Arizona, in the Final Four. You really don't like UConn. You really don't. You don't like Dan Hurley. Well, come on, stop. You want to go to that game. I'm going to throw BS here on the NFLPA. Now, the NFLPA, like most unions, is going to align with other unions or other people in dispute with the man, and the man being the NFL. And we're all kind of just, all right, this is not pleasurable seeing the NFL and the referees, and this is all heading towards some sort of lockout or replacement officials. We don't want to see that. J.C. Treader is the new head of the NFLPA, and you shouldn't surprise you that they are fully backing the officials. But I'm throwing flag on this. They're going to the player safety card. Player safety requires trained professionals on the field. They manage the game in real time, enforce the rules, and stop situations from escalating. That can't be replaced by less experienced crews or handled remotely. If player safety truly matters, trained professional officials on the field are not negotiable. So that is the statement from J.C. Treader. I would just ask J.C. Treader this. And if you're a Bills fan, you may remember this game. This was from December. Because you're looking at, wait a second, he was in concussion protocol, got cleared. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins gets knocked. You see his head bounce off the turf. And then he's stumbling around the field, and he's not coming out of the game. Who was your trained official that game?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Stop with that. Like, how did the officials not pick that up? So, stop with the high and mighty stuff. These officials, they're not great. And the NFL's kind of picking a fight here, kind of establishing rules. I think what's going to ultimately happen is, the officials may get a little bit bump up of pay, and they should. I mean, everybody's making money in the NFL. But what the NFL is going to lean into is if they really are concerned about officiating being done the right way, then let's lean into a little bit more video. I hate to say AI, but kind of that sort of thing, right? Like they haven't figured out, the virtual measurement. Virtual measurement's a joke, right? But there will come a day where they get a system that's going to be down, and it's not quite ABS of baseball. But they hear J.C. Treiter kind of go to the player's safety card. Okay, like what all of a sudden, like, you know, we're going to have fights on the field because we have replacement officials? Is that what you're saying? Replacement officials aren't going to be able to spot a concussion? Hell, you couldn't spot a concussion with Higgins or Tua against the Bills. Those are only 2 instances that I can come up with because we're watching Bills football. You could say Josh Allen in Houston getting cleared. Look, there's a lot of instances. So the player safety card, please don't go to that. That just kind of insults me just a little bit. Red Wing Baseball is the home opener coming up 4:05, and that's always going to be a fun time when we get a little traffic down here. I was, as you were, Tim, driving home last night. I'm like, wow, this parking lot here, the ballpark is still filled. Were people just hanging out eating? What were they doing?
Well, I actually went over there for the game, just hung out after leaving the show here, and there were probably close to 1,500 people just in the concourse enjoying some concessions, hoping that the game would be played. It was pretty obvious that it wasn't going to be, though.
You're right, and then it was officially, before 5, and then, boy, they made the right call on that because, well, thankfully, the forecast is good today, and if you're heading to the ball game, enjoy. Tomorrow, we shift our focus to the Buffalo Sabres, as the Sabres will be in Ottawa tomorrow night. Our guy, Paul Hamilton, back in the sports bar tomorrow from north of the border, as we'll talk some Sabre hockey. If you miss any of today's show, the Dandalorian doing a fine job chopping it up in bite-sized form, wherever you get your fine audio. We're on live weekdays from 1 to 3. If you download the Odyssey app, well, you can listen to the show anytime you want. So hello to our viewers, listeners, watching back here at another time. For my buddy here, Tim Schneider, for Dan DeLorean, Dan Drumming, my name is Gene Battaglia. Emmerich Hockey tonight taking on Charlotte. Our coverage will begin at 7 o'clock. Shope and the Bulldog coming your way next year on WGR Rochester.